All right. This is my final for 262 and 264. My journey in teaching gymnastics, this is an overall new experience. Teaching is a new experience to me in general, but especially gymnastics is something I always wanted to do. As a kid, I thought doing flips, and that's obviously the idea. I thought that was so interesting and cool. So it was really nice to teach it to some beginners. I want to go over some dates that I taught gymnastics. First is March 24th. We taught animal walks, knee walks, and knee jumps, partner balance, and beam. This was our first day teaching the homeschool kids. I had no idea what my student was going to look like, how were they going to act, what their personality was going to be. But as soon as I noticed that she was so excited to be there, that increased my confidence. And from there, it was a great experience. March 26th, we had partner and individual balance, tripods, handstand progression, and beam. That was my second teaching session. My third was March 28th, more handstand progression, and we just added some rolls and rotation. So like forward roll, backward roll, and rotation 180, 360. And we also practice, more beam walks and things like that. Now we fast forward to April 23rd, traveling rotation, static, and tumbles. Static poses, me and my partner Kylie were fully working together at this point, so we did like partner poses, individual, and we kind of tested them and wanted to get them like practicing it. And April 28th, we pretty much did the same thing. So 5 lessons is what I taught, and then we had a gymnastics meet. So we were working with the Westfield Days for 6 days total, I believe. How did my teaching follow the sports education model? I have 3 examples how my teaching followed the sports education model. And the first I would like to talk about is we followed formal competition. We implemented, prepped, and practiced for a gymnastics meet that every single student participated in. Each class was like practice for a formal event, which was the gymnastics meet that we had at the end. At the end, students were able to put that all into a culminating event. We also included a festivity by giving awards, taking pictures with our students at the end of the formal event. That gave a happy environment, and I was able to see some positive reactions from our parents and also our students, because they felt like the previous 5 classes that they worked really hard, and it was really nice for their parents to be able to engage and see what they were able to perform. Our teaching followed affiliation. Me and my partner had a small team of 4, which was Lydia, Sophia, Daniela, and Eliza. We created a team name, which was Team Sunshine. We came up with team colors, and on the day of our gymnastics meet, which was our final day, my partner had even brought in these nice creative team shirts. So, what is TGFU versus the sports ed model? The sports ed model provides students with authentic and engaging sports experience. So it's close to the real deal, like soccer, basketball, football, not so much modified, as much as a really experience as possible. It includes the things, like I said, like festivity, affiliation, culminating events, formal competition, record keeping. It aims to educate students about sports in an educational but also fun, engaging way. It's specific to sports, not activity and task. Now, TGFU focus on students' tactical awareness. That's why we're asking those questions. That's why we're breaking down our activities into like practice tasks and more than one activity. And we're reflecting kind of in the intro and in the closure. Help students understand the purpose of skill within the context of an activity. So more so, like I said, like an activity, like a game of capture the flag versus flag football. Invasion games, net and wall games, striking, and targeted activities are all included. And these activities should always be modified when we're using a TGFU. Now, what I would do if I implemented it, it depends on our unit that we're in. For example, if we're on a soccer unit, then I would want to use a sports education model. Now, if we're on a strategizing unit, then I would use teaching games for understanding. So me and my students can come together and reflect on some of the things that they did and that they completed and things like that. My learning objectives didn't change. They talked about safety. For my first one was, I'll just go over the first and last one. Since my student was a beginner in my gymnastic lesson, I wanted to make sure my student could perform different skills safely. When doing animal walks, knee jumps, knee walks, I want to break each skill down into its critical elements. Daniela will also engage in techniques that will help her perform those skills. She will also have me standing beside her to assist her performing a variety of skills. The student who is a beginner will be given a modification for each skill. So here I talk about, I'm not too familiar of what my student does know and doesn't know. So I'm kind of like guiding her through, walking her and finding out what she's what she's comfortable with and uncomfortable with. So this is really like getting to know my student. Now my last one, now I talk about what type of learner my student is. And the objectives changed because my student became better at performing specific skills, and we were able to like make the objectives harder or challenge her to access or do different things due to her getting better over time throughout the classes. My MA curricular frameworks, shape and national goals, S1, E1, locomotor, hopping, galloping, running, sliding, skipping, leaping using mature patterns, MA frameworks, physical activity and fitness, and yeah, that pretty much stayed the same throughout each lesson.